is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
Is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So what's up, everybody, on a Sunday afternoon? Ben from the Ben is the veteran biker, and he's having a problem connecting his camera to the software, and so all I see on my screen is a logo. I was hearing him okay, but as of right now, we can't see him, which is going to be kind of weird because the show I prepared was we were going to talk to Ben, we were going to go for a while, and then I was going to do the 10. And so I'm kind of like going to have to do like a Q&A or something until he comes on. Or what I could do is the back half of the show first and then hope that he could come on and he gets his camera. But he's got to go as well. He's got a tight schedule today. So I'm not really sure if we're going to have to reschedule Ben. I think I can hear him okay. Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine, Barry.
Okay, so you guys can hear Ben, so we're going to do like an impromptu thing here. So you're going to see this, that right there. That's not Ben, the veteran biker. That is El Gato's logo for his camera. But Ben, can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, I see you. I'm going to see if I can jerry-rig this. We're going to get something going. Watch.
All right, so do you want me to go and start the second half of the show and while you work on that, or because I know your schedule's kind of tight?
I'm going to jump in as soon as possible. You roll with what you got, Barry. Go
okay.
with it. Roll with it.
You can hear Ben in the background fixing and tinkering stuff, so we're never had to do this before. Live, it's live. This is what happens when you go live. So what we're going to do is I'm going to keep an eye on his screen. And what I'll do is jump ahead and start the 10 in advance and start talking about that. And hopefully we have time and he can get everything situated. So without further ado, let's pretend we already did the interview and just jump ahead to the 10.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Going after Miles, but most importantly, Chris Krebs. So Chris Krebs is a really good guy. He ran basically the cybersecurity around the 2020 election. And his grave sin that Trump is signing executive memoranda about, saying he needs to be investigated. His great sin is that he said the 2020 election was good, was legit, was every.
See, she, believe it or not, this woman is a Republican. At least she calls herself a Republican, but she's a firm anti-Trump Republican. She hates his guts. And so with the executive orders that President Trump put out last week, and one of those was against a guy, I believe his name was Chris Krebs, who was the one who handled all the tech stuff in the White House, and he came out and said everything was fine, there were no problems, which, can't say it, but you guys know. You guys know there were all kinds of problems that were found. And so now she and people on the left, the rhinos, basically, let's just call her what she is, the rhinos and people on the left are screaming because Trump's going after his opponents.
Thing was done well, above board, there was no fraud, and Trump lost. And the reason that this is so frightening and pernicious is that Trump is sending a signal saying that if you leak, which Trump's administrations are notorious for leaking, because leaking is one of the ways which people inside his administration curb his worst impulses, right?
She's actually justifying people leaking in the Trump administration. She just said it. That's just one of the ways we curb him, keep him within the guidelines, make sure he doesn't color outside the lines. We leak to people, and that's supposed to be okay. Again, this is a Republican. This is the kind of Republican we don't need. We don't need these people at all. They should be banished. Just go ahead and change your affiliation to Democrat and be done with it. It is okay. They're actually saying it's okay to commit subterfuge against President Trump.
They put it out there. This was just a real feature of the first administration. Like, he's going to do this bad thing. You get the public reaction. That gets him off the scent, makes him stop doing the thing. Trump is trying to make it clear, hey, I'm going to come after you. And this is his retribution.
All right, so we're going to come back to that because it looks like Ben, can we hear you, Ben? Are you there, Ben?
We're deep under the water.
I am so happy you got that fixed. I can go back to that nut anytime. Those of you who don't know, this is Ben from Veteran Biker. Let me just show you his X page in case you guys, which I hope will want to follow him. It is Veteran Biker, and it's at veteran_biker. Ben from veteran_Ben. Ben, thank you very much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me, Barry. Always a pleasure.
So I know you've got a tight schedule, so I'm going to jump right in, given the technical difficulties, because there's some things I got to hear from the military. Well, before we do that, tell everybody your background so they know why I can talk to you about this stuff.
Well, I retired from the United States Navy. I joined in 93, retired 2014, did about 21 years, worked on submarines, did some other stuff, worked at an embassy in London. That's where I was at when 9/11 happened. Did about 5 years in the UK, did a couple of deployments, over to where everybody hates us. And then retired, like I said, 2014, working in some special projects, submarine programs. We did some interesting stuff, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. And what made you do all that and decide to open up a YouTube channel?
You know, Barry, I first started my channel. I was making content about motorcycles, and I made one video about Harley Davidson, and they were going woke. It was whenever the whole Dylan Mulvaney woke movement, and I made one video about that. And I've got the Harley Davidson beer can where they partner with Budweiser, and that video exploded. And then whenever it did, I had so many people asking me, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? What's your opinion on this? And I was like, why does anybody care what I think? I was just kind of ranting to my camera, and I got so many questions, and I was just like, hey, I'm going to answer some of these questions. And what do I think about that? What do I think about this? And that's where it's kind of morphed into this. And then I follow some other good guys on YouTube like yourself. And I think what you do with YouTube is you follow your audience. You let your audience find you. You follow what they want. And I think that's what it is. I mean, you used to talk about Dolphins football, right?
Dolphins football, real estate before that, and and neither one really got me to excited about turning things on. And so I jumped into my first video about Trump was last March 18th, and I was like, boom! It was like somebody rolled a hand grenade into my channel. I'm like, okay, this is what people want to talk about. I like Trump, so let me talk about it. So jumping forward, because I know your time.
No worries.
A couple things militarily happened, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Let me play this. This is something President Trump, as many of you know, authorized military enforcement of the border. And so I'm going to show you this quick video from Fox. And I'd like to get your opinion, Ben, on what the heck are they going to do with all this armament that they're rolling in. Check this out.
So Fox got this exclusive first look inside one of these strikers. We want to show you this video here. These 8-wheeled armor vehicles. They are positioned to give a bird's eye view over the border. This one that we got to look at overlooks the Juarez, Mexico area, a major smuggling corridor known for its high number of gotaways, illegal migrants who manage to escape Border Patrol agents. Strikers could be armed with cannons or machine guns to fight enemies. You're taking a look at video from 2019 of soldiers training in Germany, but the strikers at the border right here, they are not equipped with these weapons. Instead, they are being used for surveillance.
So one of the main things that it provides is the surveillance capability with it. It can see up to 2 miles, like with the infrared. Once anything pops up, we just call Border Patrol and then they roll up on us. And
so I found something interesting in what she said, and I'm thinking to myself, I think the Department of Defense told you a kind of a fib. I need to talk to somebody like Ben to tell me if that's true. What I used to know a couple law enforcement officers when I lived in Connecticut, and the old saying was, you don't pull a gun unless you are prepared to use it. Do you really think they sent the military down there without armament? No, there's no guns here. It's just surveillance.
Barry, in the last 48 hours, Donald Trump also signed an executive order establishing a 60-foot barrier or 60-foot sort of right-of-way into Mexico. And I'm a firm believer. I don't believe you get a dog that'll bite unless you need that dog to bite somebody,
right.
And I believe what we're seeing on the southern border is exactly what's needed. And I also think that this is the first president that's actually ever used our military, probably in the last 100 years, to defend our sovereignty. And I think it's great. And I think we need to show force there. More people have lost their lives in the United States because of the cartels than all of these terrible groups combined. I mean, it's ridiculous that we will deploy our young men and women to Ukraine, to Germany, to South Korea, to Iraq, to Afghanistan. We'll deploy our troops everywhere. And now that we're putting them on our own border, Trump's the bad guy. It's so ironic.
Now, I can hear what the Democrats and the Lib Nuts are going to say. Are they really prepared to open fire on conceivably unarmed people? To me, it's more deterrence. I doubt they would ever open fire on people, but I'm thinking if I'm looking across this border into America and I see this kind of a force with hundreds of Humvees and helicopters, I'm like, I might want to turn around. So what's the strategy in this?
I think it is a show of force. I think it's absolutely, this is what we've got here. We've got other stuff that's readily available. I mean, since Trump took office, they've increased the amount of surveillance flights. Used to be 1 per month under the Biden administration. And now they're doing 3 to 4 deterrence flights or surveillance flights over that southern border. And I think, I hate to go back to the Desert Storm, Desert Shield, global war on terror, but it's so prophetic. When they got rid of Saddam Hussein, and he was a horrible person, horrible, but when they got rid of him, there was a struggle for power. of who was going to be in charge whenever Saddam Hussein was removed, right?
Right.
And I believe the only thing that was keeping the Middle East in check was Saddam Hussein was good at one thing, and that was intimidation and treating people like crap to get what he wanted. And I believe the same thing is going to happen down here at the cartels. When we got rid of El Chapo or locked him up in Denver at the Supermax, there's been a slow struggle for power, kind of like the Godfather movies. And I know you're probably a Godfather movie guy. And there's a struggle for power. And that's what's happening at the border with all these different cartels, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, the Sinaloa, Jalisco. There's all these cartels struggling for power. And I believe if we don't exert force, if we don't exert a show of force there, we look weak. And you know what happens when you look weak? You get picked on. I mean, you're a football guy. If you know one of your defenders on the other team is a weak rookie corner, Tagovailoa is going to throw at him all day, isn't he?
If he can. Yeah.
If he can.
I won't even go there, but yeah. So with all this show of force on the southern border, what are they going to do at the northern border?
You know, I think the northern border has been a problem, and sadly, the Canadians have not done anything to help us. And I think by Trump putting tariffs on them, that you know as good as I do that some border security is going to be part of that package for us to continue dealing with them, or it should be, you know.
Absolutely. Now, I didn't know if you mentioned it when you were giving your history, but you were on a submarine, right? So how long were you on a sub?
I think total, I 20 plus years in the Navy. I think I've got about 8.5, 9 years on different submarines. Longest deployment I think we did was maybe like 220 days. We left port, dove. 220 days later, we popped back up and pulled in. It was
that would drive me crazy. You're under the water for 6 or 7 months at a time.
Yeah, man, it was great. I mean, I say it was great because you build friendships with those guys that last forever. I could pick up the phone right now and call one of my buddies I haven't spoke to in 10 years. Right. And it's just like you're sitting back in the smoke pit, having a cigarette or whatever, you know? But I loved it. I absolutely loved the submarine community. Loved it.
The reason I bring that up is because what's with Trump's affection with Greenland? Is that to park subs up there? Because, you know, it doesn't make really a whole lot of sense for a military installation, but I could see there being submarine patrols up in that area. What do you think that's all about?
If you had a map and you look at the Russian ports, I believe it's Vladivostok. It comes up and then they go around. It's called going around the Horn when they come down, and they come down in between Greenland and Ireland, and then even the Irish Sea next to England. And that's where all the Russian ships, all Russian traffic, seagoing traffic, and Russian submarines come down through there. So it's kind of a choke point as to what is coming in and out of Russia. And whenever you have a choke point, and you can control or monitor what's coming in and out of there, that's a very, very powerful strategic position to be in. I think also some of the other stuff that we're going to find out is there's a lot of minerals there. There's a lot of natural resources that are in Greenland and in Iceland that we're very concerned about, that we don't want Russia to get. And, you know, I mean, that's what I think logistically. You know,
so a story came out, and if my dad was here, I'd be asking him about this story. But at the same time, I know he would be absolutely going nuts as soon as he heard this. My brother, who at the West Point is still I think he's a colonel at this point, but I haven't had a chance to talk to him about this. I'm going to put this on screen. You'll be able to see it, but you're going to be blocked out for a second.
Okay, sure.
So this story popped up today that Fort McCoy, Colonel Shayla Baez Ramirez refuses to display Secretary of Defense Hegseth and President Trump's photographs. When will she be relieved from command? And you can see, you know, usually you put all the people in command, you put their pictures up there, and in here she won't put their pictures up there. How can there be this kind of gross insubordination in the military, especially at that rank.
Barry, it's trickle down disrespect, to use Reagan's trickle down economics. It started with Milley. It's been in the United States military for a while, where these people think that they can just run amok. You just saw what happened in Greenland, or no, it was Iceland, or was it Greenland, where the Air Force, the Space Force,
Greenland, yes, Greenland.
Greenland, sorry, she was relieved because she sent out a mass email to her troops, basically saying that the base operated independently than the vice president. This is direct insubordination. I think she should be reduced in rank and discharged, maybe even charged with malfeasance. I don't think it meets a level of treason. But Mark Milley, General Milley, I mean, he said he was going to call China before anything was going to be done. And this is the problem. And we've got to root this out. If I've seen another photo of this colonel that's there with her speaking to her troops.
Right.
She's out of shape, number one. She's out of regs, number
Wait a
two.
second. I think okay, hold on. I think I can bring up the picture you're talking about, so everybody can see who she is.
If you tell her to haul ass, she'd have to make 2 trips.
Okay, here she is. This is a colonel in our army. That's what Ben is talking about. That's her.
Yeah, real. Barry, it's disrespectful.
How do the soldiers under her command look at her without going, I can't follow this? I mean, this is nuts. Number one, you're not putting up the commander-in-chief's picture. You're not putting up the Secretary of Defense picture. And I'm not one to look at somebody out of shape, but damn, I'm not also a colonel in the United States Army either. She looks like a cop that's been at one too many Krispy Kremes.
Barry, the military is built on a couple of things. Number one, integrity, which she just removed all chance of integrity. And number two, perception is reality. Right. And what the public perceives of her is their reality. And what her troops are seeing, she will be relieved of command. My guess is no later than 4 o'clock on Monday.
Oh, really?
I would bet money on it. On it.
What's okay? You just brought up what's that process? This has come up. It's amazing to me that people didn't know about it. I guess the public, I'm sure the guys on the base knew it. But so, how does it? What happens next? How does she get bounced?
Well, what they do is they use the term loss of confidence. That's what happens in the Navy whenever like a captain does something that puts the ship in harm's way, makes a bad decision. They use the term loss of confidence. And that's the nice way of saying they lost control. They lost the command. They lost the faith of their troops, their sailors, their airmen, their Marines. And that's what's going to be used. There's going to be loss of confidence. She will be fired, I guarantee you, by 4 o'clock on Monday. I would bet a
stay in the
retirement
military? Can they get her out of the military, or just going to reduce her to whatever sergeant or something?
I think they'll give her. I mean, once you're relieved of command, your career is finished. Go back and look at what was his name? He was the Marine lieutenant colonel that came out against Biden, and he made that basically. I think his name was Scherer. I can't remember his name, but you lose command. They'll put you riding a desk in a dark closet. She'll probably be counting ink pens for the next however long till she can retire. If she's at 20 years, they'll force retire her, and it's a damn shame, because when you assume command of something like that, you're either. The first thing that I saw whenever I saw that lady was DEI. Didn't earn it. And you know as well as I do that that's exactly where your mind goes whenever you see the first thing that all of us have been trained to recognize when there's a plane crash, there's a helicopter crash, there's a plane landing upside down in Toronto. You're like, oh, DEI. And very few times have we been wrong. I mean, it's hard to be wrong about this. And she's continuing to propagate that formula, and I wish her the best. And I'm sure she'll go get a job as a military expert with CNN.
It's so sad, and we have to pay for it, and that's the worst part. Even if she got demoted, or if she's got her 20 years, and we're going to end up paying this woman for the rest of her life.
American people
probably.
on the hook for treason. Yeah,
crazy. All right, so I got not another last question, but a last category for you, just so I don't. impugn your time here. One of the things that I've been having a problem lately with in terms of MAGA and conservatives is there seems to be ongoing rifts in the MAGA and conservative party. And I noticed something. I won't mention the guy's name, but I noticed you noticed it too. You put up this on April 8th. The petty attacks from the so-called conservatives are amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, are the guys who are in it solely for cash and selling coffee and doing different things and just out there, quote, and this isn't me swearing, this is the term, so I don't want anybody getting mad at me, but it's called shit posting. That's the actual term, because a lot of people don't think I swear too much. I'm not swearing, I'm calling it what it is.
Yeah.
What is going on with these guys? I mean, I was so, one of the things when I told Ash I wanted to reach out and talk to you is when I saw you post that, and it was interesting to me, and I'm searching, I'm like, is there an up button? No, that's the entirety of the post. Then that pretty much told me you're seeing it as well. What's going on?
Barry, I think it's a psyop. I think it goes back, because I get people that come into my chat and they go with this anti-Israel, anti-Semitism thing. And I think it started with that. I think it's been propagated, and you know as good as I do that certain people within the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, as soon as they see a slight wrinkle of weakness, they will exploit it. There's some people on YouTube. I'll go ahead and say it. Candace Owens. I really liked Candace Owens for a long time. And I don't know what happened where she immediately became this anti-Israel zealot. There's another guy on Twitter, Ian Carroll. Same thing. I don't know why.
I thought Ian, I've watched Ian's stuff for quite some time.
Yeah.
And you could almost see there was a decided turn. And I'm like, what happened? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But, I've mentioned to people who watch my videos, the Democrats always lockstep. You don't step out of line. They truly
never
are.
Argue.
They truly are where one goes. Where is it? Where one goes, we go all. They don't differ. They just stay with their plan and they stay with their agenda. And now we've got people on the right who are fighting with each other and calling people names and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, one of the key phrases I like to use, they don't know how to win. A team stays united. You're in a submarine. You're under the water 7 months out of the year. You realize that guy that you may not like, your life depends upon him. You want to make sure that everybody's got the same mission moving forward. Is it money that's causing this? Is it the lure of easy likes and clicks? I don't get it. What is it?
Barry, I think some people like to be an enigma. Look at Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey votes with Republicans or with Democrats more than with Republicans. I think he likes to be an enigma. Look at Rand Paul. He voted with Murkowski, Collins, Mitch McConnell to remove the tariffs on Canada.
Right.
And Kentucky's got a problem when Rand Paul and Thomas Massey are your guys. Kentucky's got a problem. There are other problems as well. John Cornyn, Dan Crenshaw. But you're absolutely right. Nancy Pelosi trained the Democrats to stay in lockstep. The Democrats have started to melt away from that under Timu Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. They've started to move away from that. But there's no one in the Republican Party that keeps everyone in lockstep. We've got some really loud voices in the Republican Party that don't really accomplish a lot other than being loud voices. If you go and look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's so good for a soundbite. If you go and look at any bills that she's proposed, she has never gotten a bill passed that she sponsored. Never. And it's ironic that she's one of the voices, and I'm sure many in your audience like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do too. I love what she says. But we've got to get some rowing the boat together. And you know as good as I do, Republicans are so good about giving up just little inches of ground and then working against each other. And we're seeing it, I mean, we're seeing it. And it's pitiful. It's sad because, like you said, we don't know how to get together to get the ball across the line. We know how to pick each other apart in the red zone, basically.
And you're talking, that's on the political side. On the, what would the word be? The influencer side, it's even worse. It's even worse because they're actually going out and attacking each other and stuff. So it doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm sure you've had, there are other conservative Republican influencers on YouTube that I watch. I watch a lot. If you looked at my subscription thing, it's so long you have to scroll. And I try really not to criticize anyone publicly. I will message a guy and be like, hey man, what were you thinking? Like, explain to me your take on this. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe, and I'm sure I rub some people the wrong way. I tell everybody on my channel, I'm an expert on my opinion, and, but I do think there has to be a level of accountability. You saw recently, what was it? Tim Pool came out with a very odd take on meeting up with Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Benny Johnson's a great guy. He's had some weird takes and kind of a weird past. I don't know. And you know as good as I do, there are a bunch of people that magically shifted into the MAGA crowd because it paid.
It paid. Yeah. And you'll notice it when he's out of office. When he's out, I remember after the election, people would ask me, "Hey, what are you going to talk about after the election? After he won?" And I'm like, I knew where I was going because I knew there was a whole lot of stuff that was going to happen and continue to happen. There are slower days, but there's not too many dead days. Every day brings another story, and I've almost had to move away from talking too much about the Democrats because they're in a death spiral. There's nothing happening. There's nothing happening with them. So when you see
it's a slow train wreck watching them, it's amazing.
Which to me is the worst part of all this infighting, is because you have a wounded deer. You want to put this animal out of its misery at this point, and you're like yelling at each other when I'm like, you can win here. You can really go after this group of people who don't have any leader, and it's just like they don't want to go in for the kill. It's like, you're on the third yard line, 3 yard, and there's 2 minutes left in the clock, and you decide to kneel down. I hate that when they do that. Go in, push in for the end zone. But
it is really weird that we can't come together for a whole lot. It's really strange, and I just find it really, really odd that we can't come together for the greater good. And you know it as good as I do that there are no Democrat will ever vote for any Republican policy, but we've got a lot of Republicans that'll vote with Democrats against a Republican policy.
Right. And I do this section in my show where I count off like 10 stories that are just outlandish, which is what I had started while you were doing your tech stuff. And you're absolutely right, because I'm looking to love your stuff, and there's a few other guys that I want to get on, and not doing it for the stars, but doing it because it makes sense to do so. And I feel like there's a lot of people don't realize, even part-time, there's the ability to make a good amount of money doing this, and I just feel like it gets in people's, it hooks them like almost like in a fish, where hey, if you say this, we can give you this much money. And the money that you get offered, it's substantial, especially if you've got a platform that has millions of subscribers. You'll see checks with, 6-figure checks that people want to throw at you. And
commas.
Pardon me?
A couple of commas on there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would just hope, and I hope the people here in our community, and I know I've heard the stuff, and that's why I wanted to talk to, every Sunday what I'd like to do is talk to a conservative person. And if it's you again, then that's fine too. I just want to start coalescing, because I think that's the next fight. And I really do think that if people don't get the bull by the horns here and steer this thing back towards Trump and supporting him, we're going to be in trouble. And we can see what the judges are trying to do. The infighting isn't going to help. And even this morning, I'm just looking back and going, what are these people talking about? So I commend you on you're steady with everything that you're doing. And I
Barry, I
commend
got
you
a
on
question for you.
Sure.
And it's something that I haven't really understood or how to even handle it with my audience. I see on a daily basis on multiple platforms, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. There are so many people that are really going after Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. Where are the arrests? Where's the Jeffrey list? Where's the arrest? And I push back a little because I'm like, these three are up against liberal judges appointed under Obama and Biden, hundreds of them. And these cases have to be, they've got to be watertight. They got to be like a submarine. There can be no leaks for them to push anything forward. Now, I understand a lot of people are impatient, but how do you handle that? Do you get that same kind of
I actually made
questions?
fun of it. I actually made fun of it yesterday. Or last night. You know that President Trump is down here in Miami at UFC 314. And one of the guys that he took a picture with and had a photo op with was Shaq. Big 7'2" Shaq. And I don't know if you remember back, living here in Florida, it became a big thing. He became like a sheriff for a month, and he would get on his uniform and he would ride around with the sheriffs. And so I actually posted poking fun at that. I'm like, here's the next FBI director. You know what I mean? But people sometimes don't have the sense of humor to actually sit back and go, oh, he was joking. And I'm like, some people got mad. And, oh, no, we could never. I'm like, number one, he would never do it. Number two, I was joking because what you just said, all of this is crazy. And just to let you know, I've had Kyle Seraphin on a couple times, Steve Friend on a couple times, former FBI agents who are whistleblowers. Kyle's going balls to the wall right now. He's on Pam Bondi's heels. He's on Dan Bongino's heels. He's on Kash Patel's heels. Kash Patel was down here at the fight last night as well. He was posting pictures of him at the fight, and people were pissed off at it. And he said something yesterday, and until yesterday came, this post that Kyle put out, it really caught my eye, and I went, oh, you got a point there. Until I read this post, and here, I think many people, if you haven't seen it, it's what he said. He goes, as of this day, in the Biden administration, they had already put 60 J6ers in jail.
Wow.
And I went, oh, never thought of it that way.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, so there were 60. And then I thought to myself, well, at the same time, we've gone after MS-13 and Trey DeAngua, whatever you want to call them. I call them the Trace Leches. So, you want to trade it. But that was a good point that he made. As of this day in the Biden administration, 90-something days in, they had already put 60 J6ers in jail. So,
wow.
Yeah, it makes you think. It made me sit, because at first I was mad, then I said pump the brakes, and then I read that statement, and I went, okay, so how did they go from here to having these people in jail, even though they railroaded them, and they should never have been arrested, which may be the big difference at this point, is these people have been pardoned, we know that they were abused, and all this kind of stuff in terms of the legal process, but you're absolutely right. Anything they do now is going to have to be completely airtight, and couple that with no communication, no statements. They don't say much about things. Dan posts some quite ambiguous posts sometimes. Just because you don't see something happening doesn't mean it doesn't. And you're a perfect person. No one could see the submarine you were in underwater. Run silent, run deep. But you were doing something. You were definitely doing something. You wouldn't have been there. It's not like they take the sub out for a ride around. You had a mission, and nobody knew what it was. They couldn't see you. So I would, at this point, I'm going to, and you being on the show today, I'm going to approximate it to you in a sub. Because at this point, the mission is happening. And I think people are so frothing at the mouth for something that they just can't take the fact that Kash Patel came down here and was having a good time at a boxing match. Like Saturday night, he should have been grinding oil up in Washington or something. So you coming on, I hope a lot of people can take from that. In fact, before you go, can you let people know what it's like to ride around in a submarine in the dark depths of an ocean, but you're still working on something?
Submarine life, when you get underway on a submarine, you are completely dependent on the other 159 people on that submarine with you. There's 160 typically. We make our own air. We make our own water. We're only limited by the amount of food we carry. The reactor will power that submarine for 25 years. We could stay submerged the entire time with the exception of food. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you're so dependent on the people next to you. And there are missions that we went on that not everyone on the submarine actually knows where the submarine is. There are people on the submarine that have no idea where they're at. They have no idea because there's no need to know. So maybe this is a good correlation, Barry. You bring it up that I mean, we are already seeing some leaks come out of the Justice Department. We're seeing leaks come out of the Department of Justice. We're seeing leaks come out of the White House. I think some of these things are planned to find out who these leaks are. And I mean, I know there's things going on behind the scenes. You know it. If you don't, you're crazy to not think that. But this might be the first time where we have a president and maybe a Justice Department that aren't sending signals to the Iranians or to the Afghans or to the Chinese before they actually do something. I know everybody wants a trophy. I go to Bass Pro all the time. I like to hunt and fish. When you walk in Bass Pro, you see all the cool trophies up there, the deer, the elk, the coyotes, the whatever, right? If you went to Bass Pro and there were no trophies on the wall, it'd be a warehouse. I think Trump, his team, his administration, the Department of Justice, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, they need some big trophy. And to use B.A. Baracus, Mr. T's famous line, I pity the fool that's the first trophy. Because they are going to wear him out. And I think that's what the American people need. The American people need this first real sort of like, we got you.
And it better be a big, nice and juicy one.
John Podesta.
Ben, thanks a lot for everything, man. We're going to talk off camera and figure out some other things. We'll do some reciprocal shows and things of that nature.
Barry, I'll get you over anytime, brother.
This was perfect, man. Thank you very much. I know you got to run. Guys, if you guys want to reach out to Ben, let me put up his I didn't put your YouTube channel. It's not on your banner, bro. Did you know that?
I need to fix it. I had no idea.
Because I'm like, I'm going to put up your X channel, your X profile, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it doesn't have his YouTube channel on.
I do a morning live stream like Monday to Friday before I go to work with some coffee, and then I go to work and do my normal 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever it is, and then just kind of do YouTube on the side. And I love it. I've got a great audience. I idolize some of the content that you put out and think it's great, Barry. You're doing great work. Great work. And I think the way that you come across with the positivity in the political world is rare. It's very rare and it's needed.
What people don't know is that Ben and I went back in our X messages, and we've been talking for over a year. I don't know if you know that. Back channel, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? And I really value that. And I don't think enough people realize, the two of us are doing things Ben's doing. Imagine that. He's doing this part-time.
Yeah, I do it in the mornings before I go to work.
I couldn't imagine doing this early in the morning, doing it part-time. So, I salute you to all that. So
more channels like ours should communicate, should bounce ideas off each other. It's a good way to keep each other, I wouldn't say in check, but it's just refreshing to be like, hey, what's your take on this? What's your take on that? Or Barry, your audience might like this. Mine might like that. I think there's enough clicks out there for everyone, without. And some people buy clicks because there's not enough for everyone. I don't know.
We know
But
who
you know
those,
exactly
we
what
know
we're
who they
talking
are.
Yeah,
And
very
you know
easy to see.
what's really funny is I'm just going to put it up one more time because I just thought this. You can tell when people personally, if you know a YouTuber, if you know somebody in the game, you can tell when something's really got them. And seeing this, that one line, one line you put up, that specifically was, I got to talk to him. There's something he's seeing it as well. It's like, man, this is petty.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, the other day I did a video with whether or not she liked it or not. The fact that Megyn Kelly ripped into Kristi Noem because she thought she was too much of a glam person to be out there, and I'm like, do we really need to be talking about this? Is that
Probably
something?
not.
And all that is for clicks. That's all, and it just drives me crazy because it's two beautiful women here slapping each other around because you don't think this one should be out in the field in makeup. Meanwhile, if you compare it to the last guy, Mayorkas didn't do anything anytime. It just.
And the Democrats love it if you and I were to get on here and dogpile each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I hate making Democrats happy.
They are already some of the most miserable people you ever want to meet. So there's no reason to try and make them happy.
Yes.
All right. So let me go ahead and put up the X profile without the YouTube link. He'll probably get that fixed real soon.
I'll fix it for you, Barry. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and a big salute to your audience.
Thank you very much. And that's Ben at Veteran Biker Channel at veteran_biker. You can check him out, his videos. Oh, I didn't even see his picture. He's got a picture of him in a sub. Look at that. Oh, he looks so young. Wait a second. Hey, Ben, you were muted. What'd you say?
That picture is from 1994 USS Ohio, SSBN 726.
You look like a high school kid.
That little bunk room, 9 people slept in that bunk room.
Oh my goodness.
8 by 8.
I love, but you know what? You're smiling at least. That's a good part. You're not
Love
there
it,
upset.
brother.
All right, man.
Barry, you
thank
take care, brother. See you
All
soon.
right. Thank you very much.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me get some comments here. Let me know what you guys say. An informative interview. You know, sometimes it's nice, especially when there's not a whole lot going on, and I can spend time. Like I said, I've talked to Ben easily the last year. I've been on his show, he's been on mine, but over the last 365 days, our direct messages look all kinds of stuff. Love talking to him. I can't believe he does this part-time. That's a lot of work for part-time. Awesome interview. Thank you. A little bit different, you know, a lot different. Why'd you guys like it? Going to try and get some more people on like that. Just talking to people and see what they come out with. Let's see here. Are you talking about Lindy Lee? No. Yeah, you can follow Veteran Biker here. Wow, I'm glad you guys like that. Let's see if I can get him on. You know, maybe we'll do like a regular thing and just keep bringing people on and talking about various different subjects so that we can, you know, see how the other side, other people, I don't call him a competitor because we're all doing the same thing, and I'm not trying to win against him or anything. I like talking to guys like that. So let me, let's see if is this available, and it is available, so I will show you it. By now you guys have seen me talk about this many times at this point. This is the, I guess they call it the Trump combat knife, and it's from Patriot Addict. It's a great little knife. Actually, it's not that little, but it is a good knife. Here it is here. It's like I've modeled it many times doing my Vanna White imitation. It's a good size heavy knife. It looks like this. They call this the Trump Red Knives. The Trump Red Knife. You can get this knife absolutely free, except you'll pay a shipping charge of $13.99. Here's the knife. All you've got to do is go to the QR code right over here, put your information in, $13.99. A knife that regularly sells for $70 plus, you're going to get for $13.99. Or you can go to berryknife.com. So let me show you the knife so you can see it. It's not a, somebody told me it's not a switchblade, but that's the knife. Great for fishing, hunting. It's very sharp, and you can keep a knife sharp, but it's very sharp. I've shown you the size before. I used to do it this way, and people said, do it sideways. I'm like, okay, so you can see it's about a 10-inch knife once it's open. Pretty balanced to me. I mean, you can see there's weight onto it. On the very top of it, without cutting myself, there's a blade inside of here that you can cut a seat belt if you need to get out of a car, or if somebody's got you tied up or something. And then you also have a window notch where you can pop a window if you're stuck in a car and it's too hot and there's no air conditioning or whatever. You can pop the window. Or down here, if you get somehow stuck into a canal, drive underwater, pop. And then you can use the blade to fight off the alligators while you're in the canal. So it's very, very versatile. I like having fun showing you guys this. I hate when I have to just like read words. Oh, by the way, scan the QR codes to the right or visit berryknife.com to apply your 100% off coupon. Nah, we don't like doing that. We like showing it. Not many people I've seen on other channels actually show you the product. Show you the product. Tell you can get it for $13.99. Order yours now before supplies are gone. All right, $13.99. Thank you guys at Patriot Addict for doing that. It really helps us out here do what we do. All right, so as you saw, what's this say? The knife is $15.95 if you won. If you buy one, $13.95 if you have multiple orders. Okay, great, very good. All right, so I began doing the 10. And it was funny as Ben was talking about how some of these people, they leak. And it was just as I was into the talk. I mean, she was talking about they want people to leak. That Ben and I were talking about leaking. So let me make sure. Let me go back to where I was. And we'll see if we can't get this started again, because as much as I was waiting for him, I was like, please, don't mess up, because I didn't do a beginning of the show. But I want to start with this woman complaining about Chris Krebs, and we'll take it from there.
Administration curb his worst impulses, right? They put it out there. This was just a real feature of the first administration. Like, he's going to do this bad thing. You get the public reaction. That gets him off the scent, makes him stop doing the thing. Trump is trying to make it clear, hey, I'm going to come after you. And this is his retribution agenda, right? These are just petty things that, where he's got like a bee in his bonnet about people who told the truth about him. And so he's going to go get them and have them investigated by DOJ. Like this.
Now, in case you guys didn't watch when I first started talking about her, she's a Republican. And Big RINO, Big Rhino, hates Trump, is on CNN all the time. And these people are freaking out because now it's, you shouldn't be going after political opponents. It's bad to go after political opponents. Unless, of course, his name is Trump. Then you guys should do anything possible to take Trump down. None of these people had any problem whatsoever with what Merrick Garland did. Nothing. Went after the J6ers, went after Peter Navarro, went after Mike Flynn, went after Paul, what his name was. They went after all these people. Threw them all in jail. Didn't care. Bankrupt them. Not a word. But now that President Trump is in charge, and now that Pam Bondi is in charge of the Department of Justice, now they're wetting their diapers. They're terrified of what may happen. And so at this point, in my estimation, this entire don't go after your political opponents thing that they're saying holds no water. None of us care. I think very few people in America care that you're worried about his political opponents being gone after. Bottom line is, if they did something or didn't do anything, then they don't have nothing to worry about. But you don't even want investigations.
Is the authoritarian stuff. Like, it's not, these aren't close calls. These aren't the kinds of things that, you just say like, well, maybe they did. No, this is not a close call. He's got the DOJ investing people who criticized him publicly, politically, and that's why he's after them. And it's one of those things that might get lost in the Trump pulled back the tariffs news, but it shouldn't, because this is the scary stuff.
And what exactly are they being investigated for?
Well, he accused Miles Taylor of treason and leaking.
No, he didn't. It may be found out. Maybe you did a Freudian slip, but he didn't accuse him of treason. You see, this is someone who did some funny business with the election. We all saw it. And for him to come out and go on CNN and tell everybody there's nothing wrong, everything was fine, no, there's no problems. Again, she didn't have a problem with any of that.
Classified information. I'm not sure he had a clear accusation on Chris Krebs. Chris Krebs did, I don't think Miles...
And then she said that. I don't think he had a clear accusation. Then why in the sentence before did you say he accused him of treason? Not even her next sentence, she completely erased what she said in her first sentence. These people get so tied up in lies, they don't even remember what they said the sentence before. Oh, he's accused him of treason. Oh, I don't think he's accused him of anything yet.
Did either. I think Miles is just guilty of criticizing Donald Trump and saying things while he was still working there. But Chris Krebs, that is outrageous. This is him going after Chris Krebs just because he said the 2020 election was free and fair. And so he's got...
Yeah, anybody who says that, what she just said, because these people still don't allow us to talk about it. We're still not allowed to voice our opposition or opinion on it. But if you said that and you were involved in the administration, I don't think you immediately get a pass to jail. But obviously people need to look and see how your bread was buttered, because you lied. There was something to this. Why would you come out and say it? You knew it wasn't perfect. You knew there were problems all over the country, but still you said, no, there's nothing to worry about. And you wanted to help facilitate all these people in the Trump world getting arrested and busted. And you wanted to facilitate the rumor or the montage, that you will, of everything CNN and MSNBC put out there is like, oh, denier, you're a denier, you're a denier. How many times did we hear that? You didn't even want anyone to speak about it. You went overboard helping Twitter and other platforms shut anybody down who even had an opinion. That pretty much tells you got something to worry about.
Going to have them, investigate it. What they're going to do is they're going to go through all their taxes. They're going to just make their lives miserable for no reason to send a message that anybody who speaks out against Trump could face the same fate.
They're going to go through their taxes. They're going to make life miserable. These people, I'm telling you, they don't have mirrors in their homes. Because you could not say that knowing you're on a camera going, they're going to make their lives miserable. They're going to go through their taxes and stuff. They're going to bankrupt them. Like, did you just drop in off of another planet? Do you not realize what they were doing to people? Over and over and over, and you're accusing them of doing what they've already did. Oh, they're going to go through their taxes. Oh my God. So what? You guys are big fans of the IRS. You wanted to hire 87,000 more people. Give them something to do. But no, not them. You should be looked at. Your taxes, you MAGA people. Not us. We're rhinos. We're cool. Leave us alone.
Number 9.
Charlotte, you and I have talked about this offline. I mean, the Republicans love to fearmonger. That's their currency. It galvanizes
This is Charlotte.
people to vote based on fear, not on facts. I always like to say, don't vote on feelings, vote on facts.
See, this is one of these segments where I have to smile and wink so as not to have certain people get upset and take my video down. So I just let you listen, but there's not much commentary I can do. So let me continue with Charlotte.
Our viewers right now on why making trans people the boogeyman is just something that the Republicans want to do right now. And to your point, they're going to move on from that and they're going to make another group targeted, and the next round of fear-mongering continues.
I'm sorry.
It gets right to the heart of it. So there are two things. First of all, according to polling, most Americans believe they don't personally know a trans person, which makes it a lot easier to be bystanders when the trans community is attacked. The second thing, of course, is that only one party is really talking about trans issues. It's the Republican
Only one party, huh? Wonder why.
Party. They've made trans issues one of their central topics in campaigning and the national discourse.
The fingernails on Charlotte are beautiful, aren't they?
What have you. The more the Democrats ignore this, the more it's going to come back to haunt us in future elections. Republicans are not going to let up on this. They're not going.
Trust me, there's a lot of haunting going on. As we as people see these things, there's a lot of things that haunt us. There's a lot of things that when I see this stuff, I feel haunted. You are right.
To leave it alone. They're not going to stop this, and we're going to suffer. And here's what I find ironic about all this. It's very easy to fight back on trans issues. The science is on our side. Every credible medical organization has come out and endorsed gender.
I don't know how to critique this without getting myself in trouble. So I'm going to let y'all critique it. As Charlotte just said, every medical journal has said that, this is all normal. Right? Okay. Just so you know.
Care and said that the trans military ban is ridiculous and unnecessary. They've said that trans women should be housed in women's prisons.
That's going to work out really well. Anybody ask the women in the women's prison how they feel about it? Or are you just talking to, I don't know, MSNBC, Charlotte here, and, the bunch of the medical people who said this is all normal? Just wondering, just asking. Anyone talk to the female prisoners? Female prisoners got any say in this, or?
I mean, these are all policies that make sense if you're willing to fight.
Please don't say make sense. Please don't make sense. Please don't say make sense while this person is on television, because none of this makes sense. I think I can say that because I'm pretty sure every single one of you watching this are like, no, this does not make sense. It makes no sense, because I'm pretty sure most of you have a significant other that either has one thing or the other. You don't have to wonder. You just
back. But the more we don't fight back, the more Republicans are going to engage in bad faith and run up a score on Democrats. And I think we all deserve better.
That I can agree with. We all deserve much better. As we head towards the holiest week in the Christian calendar, trust me, we all do deserve better.
Number 8.
Let me ask you about the constitutionality of these tariffs. As you know, the Constitution, right there in Article 1, Section 8, makes it very clear that Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Congress has the power to impose tariffs, not the president.
So you're gonna try and question Howard Lutnick on this because somebody printed you out a copy of the Constitution that none of you want to follow, except for right now you're trying to pinch, President Trump into a corner because, hey, the Constitution says this. Well, the Constitution has other articles as well, but for some reason, you don't ever want to talk about Article 2, Article 3. Now you just want to talk about these tariffs. Why? Because you like China. Because that money that China keeps giving ABC and these media networks is the only thing keeping them afloat with pharmaceutical dollars. I'm telling you, it's not going to be too far in the future when you're going to see Chinese flags in people's bios on X. They're going to replace the Ukrainian ones and put Chinese flags. This is America. This is an American media, and they're questioning the American Secretary of Commerce why he's doing bad things to China. Wow.
And the president has cited this 1977 emergency law that doesn't mention tariffs. This is a law about sanctions, about seizing foreign assets. So how concerned are you, and are you prepared to defend this in court? As you know, there's already at least one court challenge to the constitutionality of these tariffs.
The president knows the law. The president's general counsels know the law. They understand this, that Congress has passed laws that gave the president the ability to protect our national security. We need to make medicine in America. If you don't think that's national security, you're not thinking it through. We need to make semiconductors in America. We need steel and aluminum in America. We need to manufacture in America. If we just run gigantic trade deficits and sell our soul to the rest of the world, eventually we are going to be the worker for the rest of the world. We're going to be the thinker for the rest of the world, but they're going to manufacture. And if someday they say, gee, we're not sending it to you, we'll be nothing. So I think
he could have put a period right there, and the guy from ABC News would have had to swallow that. If we are continuing to abdicate our manufacturing ability to other countries so they can dictate what we are going to buy and at what price, we're dead in the water. You would think that would suffice, that the guy from ABC wouldn't even have a question. Hey, dude, we're not going to be able to do anything. We won't be able to operate as a country. We don't make our own medicine. Think about that the next time you buy something or you get prescribed something, because you actually should be thinking, where is this coming from? China. My medicine.
President has national security in mind, and he's here to protect America. We need to reshore these things, and we all know it. So it's vital for us to reshore it, and we know it.
Mr.
Numbers.
He couldn't wait to get his next question out of his mouth. When you're talking to people at this point, and they're screaming about tariffs in China and everything else, you're looking at generations who known nothing otherwise. I can't remember. I was in college when the steel mills in, Bethlehem and all up through Lehigh, all through that area, they all went out of business. These people haven't known any difference. They think that everything has been this way. It's always been this way, right? No. Don't you people have grandparents? Well, some of you, the ones who, never mind, like Charlotte. Even Charlotte has grandparents. Hey, Grandpa, where did you used to work? And your friends used to work? Oh, we worked in factories. Factory? What's a factory? I've never seen a factory. Can you drive me by a factory? Sorry. We don't have any. So how did the factories just go away? Because we gave them away. We told other countries you could have the factories. They don't know any different. They just see, and they may drive by not burnt out, but abandoned warehouses and factories. I'm like, well, that's that. That's an old building. Oh, that'd be a great place for a nightclub. Oh, we could do a rave up in there. It's a factory. That's how you're going places. We used to make tires and stuff. And these factories are gone. I'm telling you, you want to test that? You want to test that one aspect of American life being gone? Go to your grandkid and say, hey, do you know where the closest factory is? And watch him look at you like you asked him what a phone booth was. Factory? What's a factory? I'm telling you, go ask him. Matter of fact, ask him if he can show you where one is in town. Or how do you get close to the closest factory? I mean, that word is almost done in our dictionary. There ain't no factories around. They don't exist. And so we have an entire generation of people who watch ABC and CBS and MSNBC who have no idea how any of this, where it came from. Where'd this stuff come from? You know, we always had to talk with our children about, you know, the birds and the bees and stuff. And now you got to have birds, bees, and pharmaceuticals. So depending upon which way the wind blows with somebody, it's bird, bees, and pharmaceuticals. Or, I don't know, mutilations, whatever you want to say. But we also have to have another talk with kids these days. Do you know where this stuff comes from? What? What stuff? It comes in an Amazon box. The stuff that's in the Amazon box, Buffy, where do you think that comes from? I don't know. Never thought about it. Pick up anything near you. Pick up the... oh, I got, here's something. This is a beautiful... What do you call these things? Not thermoses, but whatever they're called. Where do you think this comes from, Buffy? I don't know, Amazon. Yeah, okay, well, you look under here, and it's going to tell you specifically where it comes from. And if I had my glasses on, I could see, but I can't see, so I can't tell Buffy. Buffy, here, look, tell me where it came from. You know what they have there that we don't have here? Factories. Well, what does a factory do? It makes it. Oh. Yeah, I've never seen a factory, Grandpa. We've lost that entire generation. No wonder they're walking around the streets with free Palestine. They have no idea. The fork that you're eating, where was it made? Publix, the grocery store? Hey, if it didn't come from Amazon or the UPS guy or some other box, they have no idea where anything comes from. Think I'm wrong? Go ask one of your grandkids. And worse, go ask one of your great-grandkids. And that they won't be able to tell you where anything comes from. They just think it mysteriously appears with the truck that comes by and goes, here's some new stuff. And they have no idea where it came from.
7.
And let me make something absolutely clear, unless it wasn't already. If you voted for Trump, you are not allowed in Mexico. You are not.
So I saw this video earlier. I posted it on X. And I said, Robin, we should go by a Mexican restaurant. Let's go by a Mexican restaurant to really piss these people off. And then we can make nice, red, rosy, strawberry margaritas. And maybe we even call it that, margaritas. To really piss these people off who think they've got some sort of virtue on us and tell us we're not even allowed to go to Mexico. Sweetie, if I may... If we stop going to Mexico, Mexico dries up. The only thing you're going to have there is cartels, carcasses, and drugs. If you don't have American money, they're screwed. By the way, there's something odd about her video. I'll let you...
Los Cabos, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Aguascalientes, none of that. Guess what, baby? That's all in Mexico. You don't like us, we don't like you. Don't go there. Stay in your country. Figure it out. Vacation, I don't know, maybe Nebraska perhaps. One of the red states that you love so much. Stay there. Don't have margaritas, don't have tequila, no tacos, no enchiladas, none of that for you. Stick to what you know. Maybe a burger, perhaps, no cheese.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm in Florida, and I live where you vacation, honey. I live where the world vacations. I'm good in my red state. And then we're going to bring some people and give away trips so people can come to this red state. But the thing that was odd, she was doing her little video with a Yankees hat on. And I'm thinking to myself, these people don't know what irony is, do they? They have no idea what irony is. She's sitting there with a Yankees hat on, telling us not to come to Mexico. These people aren't bright. That's why I started using this stuff, the 10 spot, to show you some of these people. Elevators don't go all the way up. You got a Yankees hat on. Yankee. Let that sink in. Meanwhile, I'm gonna talk to Robin about getting some margaritas. Margaritas, baby.
6.
Also, you know, the other way I think.
I got to stop now because I also posted this on X, and I don't want to interrupt it because I want you guys to have your full attention, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, you ready? I want your full attention on this. It's only like 40 seconds long. Just bear with me. 40 seconds.
You can think about it is that we are, you know, perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, you know, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring. And so maybe something is declining right now, but maybe it deserves to decline.
The tweet or X post that I put up was, did you notice that people were smiling and nodding along as if they understood anything that came out of her mouth? And they call us cultist. They say we live in a cult. And if you heard at that 40 seconds and you could nod along to anything she just said, there's something wrong with you, because I have no idea what the hell she was talking about. And I challenge anyone to tell me what she's talking about and how the other people are like. I guess you had to have pink hair to follow along. And I imagine that's what the people who were listening to Jim Jones, that's what they were doing as they were handing out the Kool-Aid. Oh, this is gonna be pretty good. Oh, this is great. Wow, that is a Democratic leader, and those were people who were just nodding along, as if what she said made any sense. I've watched that video like 6 times, and I'm like, what are you saying? Well, it's not meant to last, and so maybe it should go away. And so are you advocating for the fall of America? You're a politician in this government? Is that what you're saying? Or is that what you're telling people? You're advocating for the fall of the country? Maybe it needs to go away? Well, what would happen to your position, honey? If there was no more America, then there would be no more American government, which means you'd be back to tending bar if there were bars. So you don't make any sense. And then what's the pink-haired soccer player, Megan Rapinoe? You kick balls for a living, or used to. Since then, what do? It should go all the way. You realize the fact that you could kick a ball around allowed you to get a Subway commercial that they took away from you because you were bat poop crazy, and now you're advocating for the same system that made you the money you have to go away. And I think to myself, here's a bartender who's now worth millions. Here's a soccer player who paints her hair and married to a woman who's made millions. And they're advocating for that system that made them who they are to go away. Anybody make sense of that? Or are we just all going to take the Kool-Aid and let them pass it around? Wow.
5.
These DEI hires in the Trump administration, like Pete.
Here they come again with a Yankees hat. I don't know, did I miss the memo? Were we supposed to do videos with Yankee hats on today? Somebody didn't tell me. I'm sorry, Timu. I didn't get the memo. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you're aligning with that other Mexican lady or whatever she was, but I didn't get the memo about the Yankees hat. I'm sorry. Nobody sent it to me. Or is there something about pulling that Yankees hat on? You know, being a Red Sox fan, I've always questioned Yankees fans. Is there something about pulling that Yankees hat on that turns you into a bat poop Britney Spears-like moron? Because what he's about to say makes him seem like a bat poop crazy Britney Spears moron. Listen to Timu.
Hegseth, the so-called Secretary of Defense, dumb effing individuals continue to try to test our resolve and cancel our history. The latest is a book ban at the Naval Academy that removes works including those about slavery, the civil rights movement, and the Holocaust. At the same time, keeping books written by Adolf Hitler. Apparently, for these extremists, racist Nazi ideology and white supremacy is okay.
Let me stop him, because as I was talking to Ben at Veteran Biker, hey Timo, you want to do something about this? Since you're worried about books in a library, maybe you want to do something about the soldiers. I'm just saying, maybe you should say, we're not ready for fighting if that's what was going to lead us into battle. I don't have much room to talk about diets and stuff like that, but I'm also not wearing a beret in uniform camouflage at a military base. So I would hope that the guys and ladies ready to defend us on a military base don't look like that. But you're worried about some other stuff.
We're going to keep the pressure on these extremists who continue to try to whitewash our history.
Why does he talk like that? I've never heard anybody talk like this. We are going to listen to him talk like this for a few more moments.
They tried to cancel Jackie Robinson. We reversed it. They tried to cancel Harriet Tubman. We reversed it. They tried to cancel the Tuskegee Airmen. We reversed it. We're going to keep the pressure on until this book ban is reversed and Pete Hegseth is fired.
Number.
I don't even know who these people talk to, because I don't know who would listen to this type of cadence that he talks. It's not normal. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, I feel like I'm sitting in a meeting where they're about to hand out the Kool-Aid. These people are nuts. Absolutely nuts. I hope you can see that.
4.
The everyday influence of corruption and dark money was astonishing. How normalized it is.
Did you think she was going to be talking about the Democrats, Soros? Because if you didn't know that she was talking about what she perceives as corporate, basically Elon and billionaires given to Trump, you wouldn't you would think, oh, you finally figured it out, AOC, that the Democrats are full of, a bunch of money people who just like to give money to try and get their things done. But she's not talking about them. She's only talking about people on the right. So once again, you have to wonder, is the little Dixie cup being passed around because all the people in the audience around her doing the same thing, not realizing, you got a mirror? Anybody got a mirror? Like, who's funding the Democrat Party? Anybody want to know how much money Kamala Harris spent? The $1 billion she lit on fire? Nobody wants to talk about that. Where the hell did $1 billion come from? But Elon, he's a racist. Okay.
In fact, Congress and members of Congress have somehow conditioned itself to actually believe that it is normal for elected representatives who swear an oath to the American people to day trade individual stocks.
Okay, so never mind, I can't say do. These people obviously have never heard the words Nancy Pelosi. Maybe AOC has decided she's going to take on Nancy Pelosi. Because again, she's talking about her own party here. If you didn't know what she stood for, you'd think she'd be talking about the Democrats. But the people in the audience just sitting there like robots. Maybe that's why AI is going to take the place of people in audiences at events, because these people just stand there like, what's she talking about? She's talking about Nancy Pelosi. Oh, really?
That make millions with the sensitive information that we are entrusted with for the purpose of governing. How can anyone possibly make an objective vote on healthcare, energy, or war when their personal money is tied up in pharmaceutical, oil and gas, or defense company stocks? They can't.
She's talking about half her own party. And the idiots behind her are doing all this. I mean, does somebody want to break it to them? I mean, there should be a blimp flying over or something like you see at a football game, and the blimp should say, she's talking about Nancy Pelosi. Because right now they're all clapping, and I'm sure Nancy's like, will you shut up? What are you doing? You're blowing it. Or maybe Jasmine. They may be... she's talking about the Democrats, and amazing.
Number 3.
Do you believe that Democrats have any real evidence that anyone in the administration profited off of the president's policies and announcements, or is this just a fishing expedition?
I want you to remember the question. The question, do you have any evidence, before you start, if you have any evidence of what you're accusing people of? Okay? We're giving you a shot here. Bookie, Spartacus, we're going to give you a question. Right now, you're on national television. She set it up for you. Do you have any evidence to show all the stuff that you, AOC, and others have been talking about? I wanted to stop it right there so you could hear the question. Because then maybe afterwards you can tell me if you hear an answer.
Here's the problem with Donald Trump and congressional Republicans is our whole system was designed to have checks and balances. Now, Trump has designed an administration like none we've ever seen before. He is attacking the very agencies that are supposed to have independent oversight of these kind of actions. So we see him hiring people based upon their loyalty, not based upon their expertise. The real group that should be holding investigations and accountability and even just oversight is Congress.
But is there any evidence, Senator? Do you think?
So now she's like, filibuster, whatever. You gonna answer my question? Are you going to answer my question? You got any evidence? Don't waste my time with this. Well, I didn't ask you that. It's a very simple question. You either do or you don't, right? Okay, what's he say?
Think there's any evidence that anyone profited off of these tariffs?
There is enough of an offense here. There's enough smoke here that should demand congressional hearings. We are a separate and equal branch of government. The Constitution lays out very clearly that Congress is not supposed to be spineless and submissive. It is supposed to hold up oversight over the president. These are real, legitimate, justifiable questions, and not to have hearings, not to do any kind of oversight undermines the faith we have in our government, undermines the trust we need in our nation right now. Yeah. And so from the signal gate all the way to this kind of symbols or signs of corruption, Congress should be doing its job.
Senator, a couple more.
So let me stop you there, because those of you playing Jeopardy here at home, no, you have no evidence. It was a very long-winded explanation about, no, we don't have any evidence. We want to go fishing for something, which is never going to happen. You go on television, the woman asks you a question twice, and you don't answer it, and you start meandering about, hey, we got to do some investigations. Of what? I have an idea people profited? That's what you want to have an investigation on. You think that's going to hold any water anywhere. And by the time you drifted into that answer, anyone, even Democrats who heard it, already changed the channel. It's crazy. These people are nuts.
2. The list is a massively unnecessary idea. There has been study after study, and I mean a lot of studies and good studies, to say that the amount of fraud in American elections is almost undetectable.
Ooh, man, there was some disclaimers there. The amount of fraud that's in our elections, which you're admitting to that there is fraud. His words, the amount of fraud in the election. So these studies that you're talking about have then concluded that there's fraud. And then you said something that makes absolutely no sense. Is almost undetectable. A good person answering question would have been like, what the hell does almost undetectable mean? Does it mean you're mad because it was detectable? Because we worked on it so well, it was almost undetectable. So it was detectable. Almost undetectable means it's detectable. Means there's fraud. You realize what you're saying here, James. Maybe you should stop going on television. Any good lawyer, if this was a criminal trial for something, I almost got away with the murder. It was almost an undetectable murder. Almost. Except for the dead guy.
We've looked for that forever. So you ask yourself, if an elderly person doesn't have a driver's license, or a married person takes her husband's name, which my wife chose not to, but other people do, that's people's own business. Well, they can't produce a thing saying I'm Jane Smith, because the birth certificate is Jane Jones. So the other thing is not necessary. Why are we putting another bureaucratic layer to solve a problem that doesn't exist?
If a problem doesn't exist, then what's your problem with trying to make sure everything's okay? Hey, you're not going to find anything but knock yourself out, okay? I think that you're wasting your time, but hey, you're free to look. Why don't you want people looking? It almost doesn't exist. It's almost undetectable unless you know where to look. And eventually it's getting to the point where this trope there's nothing you can do about it anymore. You can't keep telling people they can't get something. We're in our 25th year of that being said. Black people, poor people, they can't get this, they can't get that. How insulting is it at this point? Being poor doesn't make you stupid. Being poor doesn't necessarily mean you're an idiot. You're insulting people. You're black, you can't figure this out. You're poor, you can't figure this out. Then why the hell are they voting? Because you're telling me they're too stupid to go get a driver's license or produce any ID. They're too stupid. But you want these stupid people to continue to vote. Well, it's their right to vote. Of course it's their right. And you know what? Go get an ID. Show people that you're not just a blithering vegetable walking around voting for Democrats, that you actually have an ID. I went and I looked this morning, because Robin and I both have real ID. Don't understand why some conservatives are having problems with this. Oh my God, it's privacy, and oh, it's just like the Patriot Act 2025. And I'm like, you people are dumb. You people are dumb who are saying that. If you walk around with something like this, and you think that you have privacy in 2025, can I be the first one to tell you you're an idiot? And I don't mean that in any really bad way, shape, or form. I'm just calling it as we see it. So it has nothing to do with privacy. It has everything to do with being worried about your newcomers and your fake people voting 6 or 7 times. That's what the problem is. I looked. Do you know how easy it is in Florida to get real ID? You only need 2 things, and most people carry those around all the time. It's a passport and your W-2 or your Social Security card. That's it. That's it. Oh, but then again, you got to get to the DMV. Okay, you don't have, in 4 years, you can't get to the DMV. Is that what you're telling me? Oh, it might cost me something. I bet you damn sure it would if you knew that you needed an ID to cash that check. I've said that many times.
We solve problems that actually exist, like, say, Medicaid to the states, that this budget is utterly destroyed. So I just think it's totally unnecessary. It's totally grandstanding. It's doing what a lot of Democrats do. Look at me. I'm so moral. I'm so smart. I'm doing things that don't affect anybody, but watch me. And that's what this is really about.
So the Republicans would say, look, there's tens of millions potentially of illegal or undocumented folks here in the United States. How do you prevent them from participating in elections if you're not, verifying that they're citizens?
The simple reason, if I'm undocumented, whatever word you use, I'm not going to show up and vote. I'm not going to expose myself in all of the effort.
Yeah, that works. That's a Democrat argument. Oh, they just don't show up. Wow.
And I mean massive evidence. When President Bush, 43, was president, they had a whole study to try to see how much fraud there was in the election. It's almost impossible to detect. I'm not saying that you have all these people voting election, there's zero fraud, but it is not, the honesty of American elections are not a problem. They're not a problem in the least. And I would be the first to say Donald Trump won the election of 2024. I don't think it was fraud. I think he actually got the most votes. But I think we're dealing with a problem we don't need to deal with. It's not a problem.
That almost undetectable fraud that is fraud. If it's almost undetectable, that means it's detectable, which means how do you know how much there is? That would have been my question to Mr. Carville. By your own admission, you said there is fraud, but it's almost undetectable. So how much is okay to be undetectable or detectable or whatever? How much? How much are you okay with? Because understand, right now, today, as we speak, as you're watching this video, there's a Supreme Court judge position in North Carolina that's being recalibrated, and in the entire state of North Carolina, this judgeship is separated by 734 votes. Out of millions of people in North Carolina, it came down to 734 votes. I bet you if you put all the votes and stacked them up one at a time as high they could go, and you pulled 734 votes out of that pile, it would be almost undetectable that you took 735 out of that pile. That's how they talk, because they know it's fraudulent. And if I was with him, I would have said that. Hey, Mr. Carville, so if we take all of the votes in North Carolina and we stack them on top of each other, and we see that 735 would overcome the deficit of 734, and if I pulled 735 pages out of that stack, would you consider that undetectable. Because it would probably, the piles, you wouldn't even know that they moved. So that's almost undetectable, right, Mr. Carville? But the person who's going to lose, more than likely, says that's extremely detectable. The Democrats know they're fraudulent, and there are so many races across the country that are being, basically awarded based upon this so-called almost undetectable amount, because that's how they designed it. When you saw the 3 a.m. drop and dump, it was almost undetectable. It was only like this much, but it was enough. It was enough to change an election. I believe, in the entire country, it was like, came down to like 40,000 votes in terms of the Trump-Biden one. I mean, yeah. If you stacked up 100 and so-called 60 million votes and you took out 50,000 or 100,000, that would be almost undetectable, wouldn't it? If you listen to what they say, they will tell you they're fraud. They will tell you how bad things really are and why they're freaking out. His words, not mine. Well, this being Easter week, I put up a post a couple days ago. And I said I wouldn't go see the movie King of Kings, the animated version, because Mark Hamill was in it. And Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame is a rabid, TDS-laden anti-Trump person. And I said, I am not going to give my money to any person any longer who I know hates me. And I said, I'm not going. And a bunch of people, I don't know, it was probably 60-40. Hey, the message is more important. Spread the message. And my feeling has been, I know the message. We all know the message. It's Easter week. We went to church today. It's Palm Sunday. We went to church. We went to service. I know the message. I've known the message since I was in grammar school. So there's nothing any of us don't know. My decision is, do I give someone money who I know hates me? And so I'm not going. Not going to do it. Well, as being married will often do to you, the wife's like, come on. You have a lot of people who watch your videos. You're telling them, that one movie may turn somebody's heart. And I thought to herself, yeah, I talk a lot, and Thursday we're going to hold prayer night, and oftentimes, people will hear what we have to say, and they will find the Lord. And today the pastor did something very interesting. Maybe they've done this in your church. We walked in, and there was a black piece of paper tied to a pencil. And we're like, what's this? And he got to the part where he was going to explain what to do. And he's like, if there's anything that you want to have before the cross, I want you to write on this piece of paper what you want to nail to the cross. And I was like, oh. And it was so powerful because you're seeing their people write, and you can't see because it's black, so nobody can see what other people wrote. And the line was just out the door. People got up in line and walked up to the cross, and an actual cross with nails, and they hammered in the things that were bothering them, on their mind, burdening them, hurting them, all kinds, whatever it was that these people had. And I just watched for a while and realized, something could change somebody's life. And so I watched this trailer, which I'm going to play for you. And I'm like, what? If I push this movie and I ask people to go see it, many people may not know who Mark Hamill is. But if they go see this movie, it's possible it could change their way of thinking. And in doing so, may change their life. And so I'm not going to stand in the way of somebody anytime Finding the Lord. And so I'm going to take a little mea culpa here and say, if you want to go see this movie, go see this movie. If you don't know this message, find this message out. If you have a child, a younger person who could benefit from hearing the message, maybe you should take them and just not tell them who Mark Hamill is. So let me play this for you. So some of you are probably saying, well, Barry, how could you change your mind about it? And I didn't change my mind about Mark Hamill. But the second part of what the pastor said today was even more compelling when he talked about how back in those times, people had open-toe sandals and their feet were really, really dirty, skanky. You've seen people with some bad feet. And you could imagine if that person came into your house and their feet were all nasty and dirty, had corns up on them and bunions, and hadn't cut their toenails in 6 months or something. And then these people were going to sit down and have dinner with you. And like, hey man, your feet stank. Your feet stinking really bad. And they all sat down and you're smelling your feet that stink. And these are people that came into your home, like Mark Hamill with his nasty feet. And then what happened at the Last Supper? And I'm like, dude, you're blowing it for me. I don't want to give Mark Hamill anything. And then Jesus, we're told, as you know the story, gets down on his knees and washes the feet of all these people that came in the house. Gets the stank off. Gets them nice so they can have food. And what the pastor was saying, I just never thought about it. He goes, back then, they didn't have tables where we all sat up here with knives and forks and things of that nature. The tables were low, so they were even closer to their feet. And I was like, whoa, yeah, that would have been kind of gross. And they didn't have chairs, so their feet were extended probably into your area so that they could get comfortable, and their stanky feet would have been like right next to the food. And normally, when you went into someone's house back then, because you did have the stanky feet, they would, wash your feet, or you would wash your feet before you walked in the house. But at the Last Supper, nobody thought to wash the doggone feet. And so Christ walked over and washed everybody's feet. A very simple gesture that many of us probably didn't even think too much about. What did it mean when he was just sitting there washing people's feet? I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Well, I didn't think about that at all until today. I'm older. I'm like, no one's ever put it that way. Yeah, we've heard the story that he washed people's feet. Even the person who betrayed him. Judas, come on over, man. Your feet, nasty. Come on, Judas, let's fix that. And he knew Judas was going to do him in the morning, right? And he's like, I'm going to fix this up. Thomas, Thomas, you doubt that I'm the dude, right? Yeah, come on, Thomas, I got your feet. Peter, you're going to tell people, I don't know nothing about this guy. And you washed his feet. And I went, okay, got it. And sometimes you get spoken to and you're like, oh, you've been telling people don't go see this movie. And you're like, you don't even know. Wash some feet today. Like, So I washed some feet. That's what this is all about. And then after I wanted to metaphorically wash everybody's feet, I saw this.
I was young. I worshipped fame and sex. By worshipped, I mean it was the most important thing to me. I pursued it. I cared about it. I wanted to be successful. And when things happened, like I hosted the MTV Awards, or when I had stand-up comedy specials on TV, I must say that I worked really hard to have those things happen. I dedicated a lot of time. I sacrificed a lot. And part of what's extraordinary now is recognizing that that is all gone. That's been metastasized. And I was caused to reflect, of course, that in a way when I was little I'd felt kind of worthless, like a lot of people I reckon, and that if I was able to enjoy the values of the culture, celebrity and hedonism, that I would be worthwhile. And it's extraordinary that the hedonism and the fame are the things that have been converted, alchemized once more into shame. I'm not talking about the nature of the case. That's something that will be settled blessedly in a court by the principles of justice that we all agree in. I'm talking about what we can learn, what I can learn from what happens if you worship a culture instead of God. It becomes very clear that if you worship a culture, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that there is one true God, a living God, whose Son came and gave his life that we may know eternal life and that we may be cleansed. In him there is perfect peace and perfect freedom, whereas the values of the culture belong to hedonism, celebrity, and a whole lot of ideas that actually don't make sense, that are much, much more important than the things I'm tangentially touching upon now, and are related to debt and war, as a matter of fact, and those are the things that we'll be discussing soon.
And I saw that and I went, okay, you've spoken, I get it. You're beating me over the head with it now that Mark Hamill might be saved. Go see the movie. Go see what the power of this movie, what the power of the story may be. Stop telling people don't go. You never know who's going to be touched. And I'm like, do I gotta say it out loud? I was wrong. We all hate saying I was wrong. 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 After seeing what Russell Brand went through, what he's going through now, and the metamorphosis that has brought him and many other people, including myself, and the metastasization of what this society and Lady Gaga and the craziness, and I'm like, yeah, go see the movie. Go see it twice. Go see it 3 times. Bring everybody you can. Can't hurt. That's the thing. And then some of you guys are like, oh, it's Hollywood. It's not. It's Angel Studios, so it's different. But I'm like, it can't hurt. You never know. I never know who I'm talking to here and how I affect people. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, somebody could say, well, Barry told me not to go see it. And then by me telling somebody not to go see it, they may not have taken a friend who could have possibly found Jesus. I'm like, I don't want that on my shoulder. I want people to come. This is the holiest week of the year. Don't be the person who stands in the way, Barry. Don't do that. I'm like, okay. And literally, all of this happened since about, what time did we go? 11:45 this morning. Since 11:45 this morning, it's like bam, 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 bam. I kept getting hit over the head. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Am I really being spoken to like this? Where I'm seeing that you have a voice, you have people, you have a community who engage here, and you're telling them, don't go see this because Mark Hamill's an idiot. Not realizing not many people go to a movie by themselves. They usually bring people. And I don't know who's going to be in that group of people who are going to go see this movie who look at this and go, wow, I didn't know that. Just like I didn't even think about washing people's feet. Never thought about it. We all hear the story. It never crossed my mind. Yeah, he washed everybody's feet at the Last Supper. Yeah, he did. How many times have you thought about that? How many times have you thought, you're no better than him? Go wash some feet. And I'm thinking to myself, you're Jesus Christ, and you're washing this ugly bunion-filled corn, and you're doing it. So who the hell am I to say I'm not going because Mark Hamill's in the movie? Mark Hamill, screw him. No, you want to go see it? Go see it. Rob and I are going to go see it. And we're going to bring some people with us because they don't know what's going to happen. Maybe something big will happen. I can tell you this, Thursday night, you will see a lot of big things happen. We'll post it. We're going to have a prayer night. We're all going to get together, and I can guarantee you will see that power happen. And so for me to tell people not to go, when last night I was watching Charlton Heston in the 10 Commandments, y'all ever see that? I mean, it's like takes you like 2 days to watch it, but it's a long movie, and you sit there and realize there's the special effects. It's he parts the Red Sea. Oh, that's pretty cool. Cecil B. DeMille was awesome when he made the movie. Charlton Heston, it's phenomenal. And I'm thinking, and you're telling people don't go see this one. I'm wrong. You can go ahead and take a snapshot, write it down, 6:04 on 4/13. Barry admitted to being wrong. You probably won't hear it a lot. But I was wrong. Mea culpa, I was wrong. I should be doing just the opposite. Letting people understand this amazing story, especially this week. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. Love 10 Commandments, just watched it again. Yeah, it was on last night here. It was right. It was on last night. Barry is right. Humility and love is the kingdom. There is going to be a huge reawakening. You're absolutely right. Yeah, 10 Commandments. Oh, so you guys all saw it too. The 10 Commandments was on last night. Oh, the Passion movie. Valerie, you're not alone. There are a lot of people who couldn't sit through it. I mean, Mel Gibson did an unbelievable job with that movie. Jim Caviezel was amazing, but it's so graphic that a lot of people just couldn't make it through. I would love to have the money to go send my granddaughters to go see the movie. Karen, send us an email. Send one of the mods an email and let me get a hold of you. Somebody says, consider doing a lineup like Evita, Vince, Steve, you, Ben, Benny, Professor Nez, Stephen Gardner. That'd be fun. That'd be very interesting. Yeah, The Passion of the Christ was a great movie. I didn't mean to get, religious on anybody. I waited till the very end. Figured if some people had sat here for 2 hours, you get the payoff. You get the payoff. But I was struck today. I mean, I was just... You ever go to church and get convicted? And you're sitting there, and what makes it worse? When you're sitting there, right, and you're hearing stuff, and you go like this and look, and you slowly look, and your wife's sitting there. you ever get that look? All right. Yeah, I couldn't watch the beating scenes. The beating scenes were tough. Yep. Yeah, that was right. Oh, it's free on YouTube right now. Passion? Wow, it is. Wow. Or you're talking about 10 Commandments. Yeah, well, glad to witness that. All right, so my first boyfriend. What was that? I'll do this. Have Terrence on. Yeah, okay. I was bawling in the pit. People were saved in the movie theater after watching The Passion. I don't know how you couldn't be. I don't know how you couldn't be, rather. All right, so that's oh wow. Look at that, Karen. All right, Karen. All you got to do is get a hold of me, and get the email over. And guess what? Your grandkids or kids, whatever, they're going to see the movie. Just I hope one of the mods can get a hold of Karen, and so that we can get that to her by Zelle or something, so she can go see the movie. So somehow get the information to me so we can take care of it. Viking King. Salute, brother. Absolute salute. Yeah, that's what we need to be doing. Get people to see the movie and telling people not to go. Francis, don't rub it in now. Thanks for being humble and admitting you were wrong. I was wrong. Oh, God. You know what's funny? Robin and I were at lunch today. And we're at lunch, and you ever hear this? It's either the Temptations or the Four Tops. I'm not really sure. And then the song came on, "Ain't Too Proud to Beg," and I told her, I said, that is the most awesome song you ever will hear from a guy who's made a mistake and he wants to get his woman back. Ain't too proud to beg, sweet darling, please don't go, don't leave me. Love it. Same thing. Saying you're wrong. It takes a lot, and especially in front of, I don't know what, 9,000 people in here. Yeah, 8,000 people right now. And people be clipping. Barry was wrong at 6:05 on Sunday afternoon. The first time he's ever been wrong, and he may never ever be wrong ever again. News at 11. Oh yeah, I spank myself. That's funny. But anyway, I hope you guys. We're gonna go see it. If it's not too late, we may go see it tonight and do a report on it tomorrow. But the reason I'm like stalling for time, I'm hoping the mods can get a hold of Karen and we can find out. Okay, thanks, Ashley. Oh, I didn't know Ashley was in here. Yeah, Karen, if you go ahead and send an email to that, and we'll get a hold of you. So. That's great. That's absolutely great. Since we're at that point, let me go ahead and read Super Chats. Hey, if you'd like to join 15,000 plus fellow patriots on X in our private X/Twitter group, go to fanfareshop.org/group. Just put in that URL in your browser. It'll take you right to our private group on X. Love to see you there. Let's share some content. And if you'd like to win a hoodie. We're not doing hoodies, but we are doing the t-shirts, and that I will have to endeavor to make sure I get done tonight so that we can begin doing that again starting tomorrow. 2 shows tomorrow, morning show and evening show. All right, so as we just saw, Viking King, thank you very, very much, brother. I think that's at the bottom, so I got to go all the way to the top. All right, here we go. CR, awesome veteran biker as a guest today. He's good guy. Greg Guerin, I watch you both. Thanks. Thank you. Mr. Anderson, Barry and veteran are my life every day. Yes, he's a great guy. Whoa, Britta Evans. In loving memory of my brother, Ben, please use for Bibles. Thank you very much. I have a feeling, I have a feeling we're going to give out a whole lot of Bibles on Thursday. I'm just saying. So thank you very much, because I bet, I bet we're giving out a lot of Bibles on Thursday night. World Peace. I'm a veteran biker member. Love listening in the mornings. He's a submarine guy. Yes, he is. Zimmer Girl, thank you. Mr. Anderson again. Barry for Bible. Spread the gospel. Share the love of Christ. Thank you very much. Lou Maldonado, thank you. Buddy Sanders, female vice admiral relieved for refusing to put Trump. Yeah, she's crazy. Wow, Shika. Thank you. Miss Avi, I really like Ben after just listening to him in a short time. He's a real patriot, well-vetted, humble, and real love for his country. His honesty is great. Keep propagating unity and respect. I'm so glad he was able to get his camera working. I don't know what it was, but he got it fixed, and it was perfect. Thank you. Captain Danny, thanks, Barry. Thank you, Ben. MAGA. Penny Kodar, I got an email that the SAVE Act was passed. It was passed by the House. I don't believe the Senate has taken it up yet. Cutting Edge, I already ordered 3 Trump knives along with a mystery box. Let's see what I get. If you're not happy with the mystery box, make sure you get a hold of us. You will be happy with the knives. Larry, 1755, love veteran biker. You can have him back again. Yes, we will. Miss Avi, oh, here comes Midas. He just had dinner, so he comes back in here. She's from the Bronx. Oh, the lady with the told us we couldn't have Mexican food. Tin Lee, anytime Barry play AOC clip, my PC mutes by itself. Larry, 1754, I posted before you said it here, a Yankee hat. Christina Mozart, Barry went to church. Oh, Christina. Barry went to church today for the first time in my life and learned so much about this special week. Can't wait for prayer night. Christina, God bless you. And you will love it. You will love it. Pastor JJ, I just call him JJ. He's been my attorney for quite some time, my real estate attorney. And he's also a pastor and a father and a husband. And he's very special. You'll love it. Ed Sloan, tyranny, a dem, and a rhino all jump off a 30-story building. Who wins? Society. Thornton Maloney, Isaiah 55:11, the word of God shall never return void. Stephanie, thank you. Viking King, as we said, thank you very much. Mama, where'd I go here? Mama Mima, I'd love to help whomever that was to see the movie. Yep, we're going to take care of that. Fair Isle, Karen, some popcorn and drinks for the kids. From CR, Karen and family movie money. Yep, we're going to get it to her. I hope she reached out. I hope she didn't check off before she sends the email. Ed Sloan, the outpouring of love is incredible. Leila G, help Karen. Yes. Mamma Mia, didn't think about sending money through chat. Baroness, thank you. And Redeemed Patriot, thank you for Bible. So, again, we've got a week of politics to go through. It'll be Monday tomorrow, probably Tuesday. Caroline Levitt will probably do a press conference, but then Thursday night we're doing prayer night at 7, and we'll stay as long as people want us to stay. Bring your hankies, because people are going to pour their heart out, and I may cry, I may get touched. We'll all get touched. All get touched together. Karen, I have the gas money to go with the movie trip. Thank you very much. You guys are great. Yeah, good to know Mark Hamill is in the movie. I guess you also have to think, they put him in the movie and he's around all these people saying, how hard would your heart have to be not to be touched? Even though you're reading a script and it's not acting, you're using just a voice actor. But still, you're reading stuff, so it should be... Yeah, Stephen Meyer said, you probably just brought one of those children to Christ. Ooh, yeah, see? You got to think. Time to wash some feet. Thank you, Barry, for having Veteran Biker on. I watch him every morning. What a great pair you are. I like the guy a lot, a whole lot, all the time. Oh, somebody says they watch JJ's Church on... every Sunday. Wait, where'd that go? It jumped so fast. Yeah, by the way, JJ, he does do his church every Sunday morning. He broadcasts live. And Julie says she watches JJ every Sunday on Facebook. Wow, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I feel good. Good feeling to go into the week. Good feeling. And thank you for allowing me to... do my mea culpa, because like I said, today was so compelling. I wasn't expecting it. It's Palm Sunday, no big deal. And he got into that, and he started, the nailing of the things that you have off your heart onto the cross, and watching people stand in long lines doing it. And then when he told the story about the feet washing, and the other story he told us. Talk to a pastor and feels like he's talking specifically to you, and he's talking about Pontius Pilate, and he's like, this guy Jesus hadn't done anything. What do you want me to do? Crucify him. He didn't done anything. And then he tries to make a deal. He's like, listen, okay, between one of these two guys, this guy here who's done nothing, or this guy Barabbas who's done all kinds of stuff. He stole, he's murdered, he's done anything. Who do you want to go free? And of course, as you know the story, Barabbas goes free. And what's very interesting is, how many times have you heard that part of the story? I'm like, well, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, he's like, who do you want, this guy or Barabbas? And you've all heard that. And pastor looks at us and goes, do you know who Barabbas is? What Barabbas was? I'm like, yeah, bad guy who they let free. And how did Barabbas go free? I'm like, oh, we're all looking around. He goes, Barabbas went free because they decided to crucify Jesus instead. I'm like, yeah, I know the story. He's telling me old news. And he goes, you're Barabbas. I'm Barabbas. I went, oh, God. I didn't think about it that way. This guy was set free with all his sin and inequities and killing people and everything. The only reason Barabbas was set free was because they decided to crucify Christ. And he goes, you're Barabbas. Thank you. I'm done. All right, I'm going to be done. So, unbelievable. All right, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. Let you dwell on that right now. You're Barabbas. Get a t-shirt. I am Barabbas.
you.